Before releasing Find in Paradise, series creator Ken Gao made a joking video trying to lower people's expectations by telling the audience just how terrible Find in Paradise was going to be. He does this as he believes expectations can tamper someone's experience. He then did a more sincere version of this video before releasing the most recent entry of the Sigmund Corp series, Imposter Factory, and I can kinda see why. Now, it wasn't trying to lower people's expectations on the quality of the game, but just more so to state that it might not be exactly what you're expecting, and yeah, there's quite a lot of differences between Imposter Factory and the last two games. Different playable character, traveling through the memories is only about half of the game now. Honestly, this game has a very different tone than the first two, sometimes going way darker than the other two went, and sometimes getting way sillier than the other two did. But most notable in terms of what people expected, Laura Shigehari's song at the end is absent, the puzzles in between memories are absent, Neil and Eva, not entirely absent, but don't hold your breath waiting for them to show up. They aren't really a big part of this game. Honestly, if I could offer this game one major critique, it's that I don't think they should have been in the trailer at all. The trailer confirmed that they were in it, so I spent a large portion of my first playthrough wondering when they were going to finally show up. I kept thinking I was simply playing a prologue, and it took me until about an hour in to realize, no, this is the game, this is the focus, Neil and Eva are probably not main characters this time around. Now, does this make Imposter Factory a bad game? Hell no, it's fucking good. Every entry of this series is good. What have I been telling you this entire month? Keep up! It's easy to focus on what the game didn't do over what it did do, and while I did miss Laura's song and felt like this one offered even less in terms of gameplay, for what it's trying to achieve, it's pretty outstanding. As long as you can let go of expectations built on the first two games, I don't think anyone will have a hard time getting into this one. Now, I will say I do think you need to play the first games to really understand this one. That is one other note. The Steam page says you can play these in any order, and yeah, no. I don't get why they would say that. Imposter Factory would be exceptionally hard to understand without Find in Paradise and To the Moon. I feel like more so than Find in Paradise, this game is very lore heavy both in the second and third act of the game. I think a lot of it would be confusing without the previous two. It's almost a little confusing with the previous two. This game does have a lot of the same emotional beats that the first two have. You do follow a character's life, you do see them fall in love, you see their struggles, their good memories and bad memories, but you also get this really creepy murder mystery thrown at you, and the game's visuals and music fit these new themes really well. The mansion is a great set piece that we do spend a majority of the game in. Not that they don't change it up, they certainly do, but I am glad that if they were going to keep us in one area this long, they at least found a lot of fun things to do with it. This certainly is the nicest looking entry of the series so far. The music goes for more of a horror theme this time around, at least for a good chunk of the game. We do eventually get the more traditional Sigmund Corp music, but the creepy music is a nice way to separate this soundtrack from the last two, and some of the more unsettling music is reprised later in the game to set more of a depressing and devastating mood, rather than an uneasy mood. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Imposter Factory soundtrack lives up to the last two. It's very different, but still super effective and memorable. Fucking hats off to Ken Gao, he made 3 stellar soundtracks. I wasn't disappointed by a single one of them, it's genuinely hard to rank these, all 3 of them are amazing. I did find myself missing Neil and Eva, but luckily Quincy and Linry are such great characters to follow, and the game frames its story in such a bizarre way that it kind of feels like you're getting multiple characters just out of these two. Replacing Neil and Eva as our 2 main characters was no easy task, but I think they did it just fine. There's also some really great side characters in this game, especially in the last third, and I won't dare spoil it for you. I'll just say this, Imposter Factory goes darker than any of the Sigmund Corp games, but weirdly is able to come back and do some of the quirkiest shit in the entire series. There are some decisions made near the end of the game that seem too damn silly for this specific series, but they own it and make it work really well, and that was not an easy thing to do. I do think I prefer To the Moon and Find in Paradise, but this one isn't far behind at all. Despite its differences, it's still a great follow-up to Find in Paradise, and for now, finale to the series. We'll see. There is a beach episode coming out that focuses more on Neil and Eva, but from what I've seen in the promotional footage for that game, not only is it going to be a smaller project, but I also can't say how canon any of it's gonna be. Still, great game, great series, check it out, play them in order, and really see what this series has to offer. I don't think you'll regret it. I will say right now Imposter Factory is the only one that's not available on Switch, but these games can run on a pretty crappy computer. Seriously, it doesn't require a lot.